Hi, my name is Steve, and this is my $150 home studio. So I was trying to figure out how to make YouTube videos, and a couple of things I learned was video wasn't most important. First was content, second is audio, and third is video. I feel like I was doing pretty good with the video, but the audio, not so much. So I went out and bought this Rode NT1 5th generation microphone. I brought it home to my one-car garage desk setup and tried it out. It sounded terrible. So then I did a little research, and I figured out some things I could do to improve the sound. So I built this semi-sound treated sound studio in my one-car garage, and I was able to take my audio from this, and that just wasn't cutting the mustard. But after getting the new microphone, doing a little sound treatment, creating the studio within my garage, my sound began to sound like this. What do you think? A little bit of difference? I think it's considerably better. If you'd like to know what I did, stick around and I'll show you exactly what I did with the trip to Home Depot, Harbor Freight, and 1 hour's worth of work. And I think it was about $150. Here's our shopping list. First of all, from Home Depot. Now, I happen to have these studs and screws on hand, but if I went to Home Depot, this is what I would have needed to get and what it would have cost. 10 2x4, 8-foot long studs, $3.85 a piece for $38.50. One box of 1 pound, a 1 pound box rather, of 3-inch screws. Doesn't really matter what kind that much. Drywall screws or deck screws. A box of those cost $9.47. Then over to Harbor Freight, picked up the moving blankets. Now these moving blankets, for what it's worth, they have different sizes. The ones I picked up were 72 by 80 inches. Now I folded them in half to double the thickness because they're not that thick as moving blankets go. And so what I ended up with was 40 inches by 72 inches. That's how I use them. Picked up 16 spring clamps, 99 cents a piece. One foam floor mat, which was 24 inches by 72 inches. And I actually used that not on the floor, but on my desktop. And then lastly, I already had on hand, but I did get from Amazon previously, one green screen, which is just a bright green cloth, 5 foot by 7 foot for $15.99. But anyway, if you want to pause that, look at the shopping list. That's products I used to make my little sound booth studio. Total with tax would have cost me, if I didn't have some of it already on hand, $164.48. In this corner, I built my little studio, is what I'm calling it. I know it looks a lot rougher than it did in the opening thumbnail, but it really is just 4 2x4s vertical. 2 are screwed to that white wall, and that's one of them. One screw at the bottom, one screw at the top. Then I've got the horizontal 2x4s. Let's step inside. My wife's calling it my tent. But you see the horizontal 2x4s that run from one vertical to the other. Those verticals that are next to my desk are actually screwed to my desk because my fancy desk is nothing more than a wooden slab, door slab. So there's another one over there, the vertical. It too is screwed to the wall. So there's 4 verticals and 4 horizontals creating the perimeter. Got a moving blanket on the back wall with a green screen in front of it. Nothing fancy. But that green screen, and I'll do it in a different video. I'll show you how I use that green screen to make my background look however I want it to look. And then I just threw one blanket up on top. This is a tall garage, and I was getting a lot of echo. And that blanket on top there works great. Camera's in my front there, and I've got the blankets kind of parted so the camera doesn't pick them up. I did put one blanket on the floor because it's a concrete floor, and I've got some spaces here on the left. One of them is the space I bring the softbox through for lighting, and the other one is for me to walk through. So it's not totally sealed up, but the majority of the wall and ceiling does have a blanket on it, and it makes a world of difference in terms of sound quality. That's the floor mat. It's made out of foam. Looks like maybe metal, but it's just foam, and that does help with the sound reverberation off of that top. So that's it. I mean, this is my fancy schmancy sound booth. Well, I hope my little shanty sound booth wasn't too disappointing. I mean, it didn't look like much and it didn't cost much. And honestly, it was maybe a bit underwhelming. Yet it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It improved my sound quality, and it did it on the cheap. If you have similar needs, maybe this helps you out. If you've got a spare bedroom or something like that, maybe instead of 2x4s, you want to use some C-stands or some other method to put up blankets. But these movement blankets, they did a pretty good job. They were quick and they were cheap. You know what they say, and you know who they are, the audio experts. Your audio budget for YouTube videos and such should be broken down to about 20% microphone and 80% sound treatment. It's not exactly what I've done here, but I get it. Do you? Sound quality is critical, so treat your room for goodness sakes. Here's a quick question for you. Do you know how to use a green screen to make a virtual studio like the one I've done today? Did you know you can spend just a few seconds and have AI create a background image for your specific needs? This one here took me about 15 seconds. Took AI about a minute to generate it. Took me about 15 seconds. No, it's not perfect, but it's not bad either. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave a question, comment, whatever. Any interaction helps. Most of all, I appreciate you stopping by. Hope you have a good day.